today is about opportunity, and about opportunity to just put the X into everything. This whole community is poised. South Africa is poised, actually. We have a window of opportunity in this country that I think everybody's feeling the energy of, the possibility of. But it really needs leadership to absolutely take this window of opportunity. And there's no better group of leaders I would back than this one.
So what we thought we'd do is to get people in the community to share ideas with us that we very rarely hear. I've heard that Kuben is talking at forums that even my son goes to. So, like, what the hell's going on? Like, why are we missing out, right? So, our first speaker for today is Kuben. You all know Kuben, but this is the non-financial Kuben. This is the guy that spends the money. Running one of South Africa's most exciting, largest platforms for young people. It's quite incredible. So the Harambee platform is, say, 4.5, 4 million active young people. It's quite a phenomenal thing. I still remember doing the first 40, Nicola. Yeah, 4 million. It's incredible. So Kuben.
Technology does a great deal to lift the world to more abundance, to greater heights, to better prosperity, whatever you want to call it. And I'm optimistic for that. I don't think that'll require any special intervention.
So happy days. No special intervention. We can just build AI or artificial general intelligence, and poverty is a thing of the past. Of course, you and I both know that's nonsense. And in fact, to change the system, we actually need very intentional and direct intervention. And we can potentially use AI to drive social impact, but that's not going to happen just by the way. We have to drive it intentionally. So with kind of this in mind, how can we use AI for social impact? So I think for me and my team, we've started to be inspired by different kinds of ideas and themes around how that can be done. And so I want to share with you maybe 4 kind of broad themes and some examples around that. And maybe that gives you some inspiration and some thoughts to provoke you about how you can use AI to drive your missions. So the first one is about inclusion, and specifically about how AI has the ability to extend our ability. I don't know how many of you know the app called Be My Eyes. Be My Eyes. So for a person who is blind, they can use the Be My Eyes app to connect to anyone around the world, a volunteer, like any one of us, to connect through their phone and see what they see. If you think about Africa in the past has been left behind in the PC revolution with desktop computing and laptops. I think still today we see a lot of people, a lot of young people that have never encountered a desktop or laptop before. But then we leapfrog that with mobile phone technology. And of course, at Harambee, we use that a lot. But still, a lot of people and a lot of people in communities, especially in outlying areas, are excluded from that. It's hard to just navigate on platforms like that. And instead, more natural is handwritten or speaking and talking in their local language. And so AI offers a new type of interface that helps us understand that and bridge that divide. This is an example that comes from India. It's an AI model called Galombik, and what they did was for this farmers here who in the outlying areas, they can't navigate the kind of government websites and try and understand what offers, what incentives, what packages are available, and how to apply for that. So instead, they launched Galombik as an AI chatbot on WhatsApp, and instead, they can use their voice and just talk to it in their local language and get information and feedback and support in voice and in text. The man you see in the picture is Gerald Abela. He's a social entrepreneur. He's a founder of an organization called Barefoot Law in Uganda. And pretty much they go out into the outlying areas and communities of Uganda where people have low to no access to legal advice, to knowing what rights they have and how to stand up for their rights and exercise it. And so part of that, even before AI, they used mobile phone technology so that these people in communities could share their problems and ask their questions via SMS or via voice message. That would then go to a team of volunteer legal experts who will then come back with a response and support. It usually takes up about a week for the experts to come back with that. And what had happened was that Gerald and his team then built an AI model that they called Winnie to help. Not like Jugglebundy, which was an interface for the users, but this was on the back end to help the volunteers. So now what happens when a problem and question comes in, Winnie, the AI model, understands that, puts forward a legal recommendation, and then the legal experts look at it, and they use that and edit it. So what that's done was kind of bring down the turnaround time from a week to 24 hours. And it's helped them scale access to most parts of Uganda and to other countries now, and he's looking to scale that even further. So it's a great use of AI for that. The next example is something called collective intelligence or collective wisdom. And that was coined by the team at Approva.ai. Approva.ai is a social enterprise that was spun off from Societal Thinking in India, or the Center for Exponential Change. And they believe that instead of using artificial or machine intelligence, how can we use AI to collect and aggregate the voices and wisdom of people, of humans, and use that to solve problems? The example here is an organization called Seeds that is using it. They kind of work in disaster recovery and crisis response. And obviously in outlying areas of India, people are speaking in their kind of local language about what's the problems, what they need help with, and how do you synthesize that and analyze that quickly to be able to formulate a response. And so they use Approva AI to do that. How do you curate the AI so that it is not hallucinating, it is not just pulling from the internet and potentially creating bias that's already in the internet or hallucinations? It's actually just using the content of people, of their wisdom, and not trying to add more to that and synthesizing it. But that, I think there's too few organizations and people that are actually concerned about that, about tuning it for bias and things like that. And that's, I think, part of the thing that I certainly and some of my team and hopefully trying to get more organizations and partners involved to say, how can we come together to ensure that AI is more representative of real voices, of African voices and African stories, and is not kind of biased? Because if we are going to use, certainly for AI for social impact, then we kind of have to build trust. So, I don't really have the answers of how we're going to solve that. But yeah, I think over the next couple of years, it's going to be increasingly impossible, really, to trust what we see on social media and the internet because of AI. Yeah, it took us a while at Harambee, and I think it especially worries me because for NGOs, NPOs, and Harambee is lucky to be one of the more resourced organizations out there. We just can't afford the kind of enterprise tools. A lot of the free tools, it doesn't have the right data privacy and security, and so if you want to bring that in, you need to pay for enterprise tools. That doesn't become, that becomes difficult for others. But I think we certainly kind of started of saying, let's try and understand. Let's get a few people together who are actually reading up and trying to understand AI and what it's about, and let's then try and figure out what's the kind of strategy and point of view for the organization. Once we kind of cleared up a strategy, it's also thinking about how can a few of us who are a bit more trusted and know how to work with it, given we can test free tools. So, we were using, even though we don't use ChatGPT free in the organization because of some of the risks with data privacy and security, we can test, a few of us can test some of these things and what's the potential for how to use it. And then use that to help come up with a bit of an AI policy for the organization. I know we took a while of trying to say, how can we pull from other people who've done it before, AI strategies and AI policies, so we're not reinventing the wheel. That was actually quite difficult to find information like that when we started out. And so for other organizations who are here, our hands are up in kind of sharing our journey and our knowledge, so you don't necessarily have to reinvent the wheel in all of these things. Exactly, and that's kind of why it needs trusted kind of people who can understand really under the hood of AI to be grappling with this first, because it can just wow you, and you can look over the problems, the inherent problems of bias and hallucination. To say briefly, like, how we're thinking about it at Harambee, there's kind of 3 pillars. We talk about AI for colleagues, and this is really about how can we enable our people to do more, to be more productive and more effective. Given in our, in our world, we have limited resources. We're not kind of, big corporates, so how can we leverage AI? The second is AI for customers. And so certainly if you think about our product roadmap and what we have to deliver for employers and young people, how can we deliver things more, deliver things better, and deliver things that previously weren't possible but now become possible with AI, but do so in a responsible way. And the third part is about AI for country and continent. And this is where, we're talking about all of the energy and the investment and the work behind AI is around a lot of the bland AIs, the kind of corporate examples, but there's not enough about social impact. There's not enough about African voices and knowledge and wisdom in there. So how can we kind of build a community of organizations and people who are doing stuff around that and work together to shape AI to be more inclusive?